This week's theme species comes in many shapes, colors, and sizes. But when you catch a mangrove snapper, you're always gonna know it by its stripe over its eye. This is the Chevy, Florida Insider Fishing Report.
Welcome to the Chevy, Florida Insider Fishing Report, presented by Yamaha.
We're back on the Chevy, Florida Insider Fishing Report. Hopefully, everyone has been staying dry and safe through the storms we've been having across the state. I know, torrential downpours, but have no fear. The captains are here and ready to give you the reports for this upcoming weekend with hopefully some better weather conditions, right, Rick?
Absolutely. You know, the cool part, Bree, is these guys are going to tell them how to adjust with all this water outflow. And guess what? That's going to be a great advantage for them.
Yep, it's all about adjusting. All right, well, let's say hi to Dave at the CCA workbench. Dave, how have the storms been affecting you up there?
Well, we needed a lot of rain. It was dry up in central Florida, and you know, my lake that I live on, I could be 10 feet off the end of my dock before I hit the lake. So we really needed a lot of rain. So
what are we talking about today?
It was good. We're talking about mangrove snappers. We're going to learn how to catch them. Snap us.
Learn how to catch them.
The delicious little mangrove snapper.
Yeah, and Dave said it, Rick. Tonight it's all about the mangrove snapper, which I think is more one of your favorite words to say over your favorite fish to catch.
Absolutely. In both cases, you could check the box yes, and yes. But you know what? We got a show to do, Bree.
Yes, we do, Rick. We're going to get this snapper party started with Captain Ronnie Houston in the Bell's Southwest region. Go for it, Ronnie.
Well, you know, guys, it's really been a tough week on the southwest side. We've had a lot of rain for the last 2 days and some heavy southwest winds. Good thing for the weekend, we're supposed to get some southeasterly winds, and the rain's supposed to die in, so don't worry about what's going on now. Worry about the weekend warrior. Now, when we talk about the mangrove snappers, it's relatively simple on the inshore side. You want to look for mangrove shorelines. You want to look for submerged logs, trees, and deadwood. And a lot of times what you want to do is when you're running the flats, out in the open flats, and you see a log, a tree, some deadwood, you want to mark those areas and come back on high water and fish those areas that are real gnarly, and you'll be able to catch some mangrove snappers. And it's really simple. You can just use shrimp, cut shrimp, live shrimp, or simply some bright-colored bucktails, fan-casted in the areas, tipwood shrimp. On the inshore side, that's probably about the easiest way, but they're smaller. Now, on the offshore side, you want to concentrate on structure, wrecks, reefs, and ledges. One of the main games is chumming, whether it's block chum, sandballing, or simply cut herring and cut pilchers. Now, if you're fishing clean water, obviously these fish are smart. You want to go to lighter leaders. The dirtier water, the fish aren't so wise. Now, in those areas, or most of the time, you can use a simple reel in the 4000 series. I'm a big Akuma guy. When you're away from the structure, I like the Inspiras, but if you're closer to the structure and the fish are going down, the Azores, to me, seems to have a little tighter drag. Also, you want to concentrate on using circle hooks, but also when you chum, use just enough chum to get the fish going. If you don't, they're going to figure out and the bite's going to be over. But once you get them figured out and where they're out in the water column, simply flatline or just add enough weight to where they are as you can get to them. And chum as needed. If they stop biting and start going away, chum as needed, because if you add too much chum in the mix, the fish are very wise fish. They won't be the bread and butter on the sandwich, and they'll be gone. I've got a typical picture of an offshore mangrove snapper with Captain Mike Avanon. That's what we start catching this time of year, all the way from now to September.
That's the good snapper there, man. All right, tell me about the groupers, Ronnie.
You know what? Like I said, it's been a tough week, but reports just before this weather came in from Captain Mike Avanon, gags and red grouper. Now, he's fishing that 32-foot contender, and he's able to get out from Marco to Sanibel in that 120 to 140-foot range. And what he's doing, he's looking for bait piles marked off the bottom. Those seem to be the areas that when you drop down, you're going to get a bigger fish. But there's also fish anywhere from Sanibel to Stump Pass, still in the 60, 70-foot range, still holding consistent. They just seem to be a little tougher to catch. You got to go through a lot more, but you still are going to catch some keeper-sized fish. The baits both reports have given me have been live pinfish, grunts, squid, herring, and sardines. Also, right now with the opening of red snapper season, the 140 to 160-foot range is holding red snappers. Like I said, it's closed for recreational, but captains are making a run till July 20th. So if you're interested, let's get set up. But I've got two prime pictures of some fish caught in the 120 to 140-foot range by Stephanie Ross with a monster-sized red grouper. And then I got a picture of a gentleman by the name of Brian Sanders running out of Everglades, fishing a little shallower, but his whole group's got a limit of red groupers, even though they're a little bit smaller, so it can be done both ways. Now, on the inshore side, we want to concentrate on the redfish. Hickory Bay to Howell-Peckney Bay, fishing the higher stages of the tide along the east wall and independent islands, especially with these winds we've been having all week. Protection and also the southwest winds have also made the tides higher, guys. Pitching the bushes with soft plastic shrimp imitations like the bass assassin root beer, Papa Smurf or new penny shrimp. Also simply knocker rigging shrimp, pilchards, pinfish, ladyfish, and mullet. But on the lower stages of the tide, gold spoons, top water, walk the dog lures, and chartreuse and bone, also in the chrome pattern. Next species is going to be the snook. Right now, there's an abundance of them all through the region. Concentrate on beaches and passes that are holding numbers. On the higher stages along the rock piles, blowdowns, but also tight against the beach all along the coast. Now, live pilchards, pinfish, silver spoons, white bucktails, and small lip plugs, 3 to 4 inch in chrome, white and chartreuse. And if you're walking the beach, fish the areas that don't have a lot of foot traffic. With the full moon coming up and the winds dying down, that'd be a great nighttime bite once you figure out where they are during the day. With all this rain we've had, you can't get out through the winds and the rain. Some of the biggest fish I've caught in all the years I've fished some of these Cuyahoga County canals, I've caught in the last 2 days due to all the water we're having. Concentrate on culverts, swales, and spillways to catch snook, tarpon, and bass.
All right, great report. Thank you for starting us off, Ronnie. Great report. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Southwest region. Captain Ronnie says inshore, Black Drum, Indian Key to Pavilion Key at the Oyster Bar shorelines and independent islands on the lower stages of the tide using shrimp and crabs. And then offshore, Permit, Sanibel to Stump Pass in 45 to 65 feet of water, fishing wrecks and using live crabs, Bree.
Okie dokie. Up next, we're FaceTime to FaceTime with Captain Tommy Derringer in the Northeast region. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Bree. Hey, Rick. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you? You looking good there, Chief?
Thanks, man. Talking about snapper, right?
Yeah, snapper.
You have to commit to it.
You gotta really just be aggressive. Snapper.
Snapper.
All right. You know what? We've got some Mamma Jamma mangrove snapper here in the Strike Zone Northeast region.
I love it.
Now, you're probably going to hear me talk a lot about those mangrove snapper here for the next couple of months because those big spawning fish, they're just starting to get fired up. Now, we get some of the biggest mangrove snappers around. I spoke to Captain Billy Hunsicker from EndlessSummerCharters.com, and he tells me they've been catching some good ones this week. Billy said he's finding those mangoes on the bigger ledges from about 120 to 140 feet. He's using live sardines on the bottom, and he's using a long leader, 60 to 80 pound fluorocarbon. Now, Billy says leading up to this full moon, the snapper should start to spawn, and the average size of those fish sometimes up here, they're 8 to 12 pounds. Some fish are even over the 15-pound mark. In fact, Billy said he has a client that's broken over 10 IGFA line class records over the years, fishing offshore for the mangrove snapper during this time of year. Now, one fun way to catch those mangroves is to chum them up to the surface. When they start to spawn, he's going to chum them up to the top using chunk sardines. When you do that, you can downsize your gear a little bit to a long 20 to 30 pound fluorocarbon leader and use a smaller 2 or 3/0 VMC circle hook. And you can just float a chunk of that sardine back with the chum and catch some nice mangoes. And we have a pretty good mango bite happening inshore right now too. Just about any of the docks around downtown St. Augustine, all the way down to Palm Coast, are gonna have some decent sized mangrove snapper on them, some that are gonna be in the slot. Now I've got a picture here. This is a great example of a monster Northeast Florida mangrove snapper caught aboard the J-Hook out of the Concourse Marina in St. Augustine.
Great picture, Tommy. All right, let's go ahead and ride a little further offshore or maybe near shore. What do you got?
You know, the kingfish bite is still going off, but there's also been a bunch of cobia caught while everybody's been out there trolling around for those kingfish. The nearshore reefs out of St. Augustine, they're holding some nice cobia right now, as well as the stuff out further, like the intruders, Taylor, even way out there at the dry dock. They seem to be pretty spread out, but they are around. Now, you can fish the bottom with a live bait, but a lot of those cobia, they're just popping up while everybody's out there trolling or anchored up. Just make sure to have a pitch rod ready to toss at a fish when they show up. There's even been a few nice ones caught on some manta rays this past weekend in the south end of the region near Flagler Beach, so keep your eye out if you're out there. I got another picture. This is Brad Brittenson with a nice cobia he caught with Captain Gibb from the Angry Seas, and I got to congratulate those guys from Angry Seas. They won the Ultimate Cobia Championship this year, so good going, guys.
That's an awesome picture, Tommy.
Now, moving inshore, you know, the flounder, they've been chewing good this week throughout the region. The late afternoon outgoing tide's been best, and you're going to want to target runouts right along the ICW, as well as the smaller creek mouths inside some of the bigger creeks. The finger mullet, they're stacking up in those areas, and if you drag a mud minnow or a mullet on a 1/4 to 3/8 ounce jig head through those schools, you're gonna find some flounder underneath. Creeks like Robinson and Poncho and St. Augustine are good places to look, as the water's been clean in the creeks that are closer to the inlets this week, so we've had some big tides and of course all the rain that we've been having. The docks around those area inlets have also been holding some good numbers of flounder as well. Use a fish finder rig or that jig head I was just talking about that's heavy enough to hold the bottom. Again, mud minnow or finger mullet's gonna be the go-to bait, and most of those flounder are in the 1 to 3 pound range. There's gonna be a few bigger fish mixed in. We've got some big low tides this weekend with the full moon, so look for the redfish to be bunched up on the flats and in the creeks throughout the region. The mullet are everywhere right now, and the redfish are definitely eating them, so it's time to dust off the cast net. Use a small live finger mullet or a cut piece of mullet. They've both been working well in the shallow stuff for me this week. The flats around the 206, State Road 206 and St. Augustine are holding a good number of redfish on this afternoon outgoing tide we've got. Look for those reds to be hanging close to the oyster bars that have a trough going around them. Now, if you're out early on the high tide, a topwater is going to be a good bet too. The skitter walk, it has and always will work well this time of year. Fish it right along the grass edges and let the rattles call the redfish out of the grass. I got one last picture here. This is Jeremy Mills with a nice one that he caught on a topwater skitter walk with me this week on this high tide right along the grass line.
Tommy,
pictures.
I say it every week, and
man.
I really appreciate all the extra effort that you put into all those pictures. They're always,
Thank you.
magazine quality, and
Yep.
it really makes a big difference in your report.
You
and
get
thank
a
you.
gold star
You
this
get-
week,
you get
Tommy.
two
You get
thumbs
the
up.
crown. You get the crown.
The crown. All right, fine.
All right, man, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at your hot
Thanks, guys.
spots from the Northeast region. Captain Tommy says, inshore, tarpon on the pokey pods along the beaches at St. Augustine Inlet. The best bite has been in the afternoon after the passing thunderstorms, and then offshore kingfish on the nearshore reefs and wrecks, slow troll live pogies, maybe a sardine, or even a cigar Mino.
I knew you were going to say it like that. All right, we're headed to the Southeast region next here on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, but we're also headed to the CCA Workbench with Dave for some rigs and technique know-how. So make sure you stay tuned into what are you doing?
It's my pet squid, George.
That's creepy.
George.
That's
I love
creepy,
him.
Dave.
I like
I'm
it.
gonna hug him and squeeze
All
him.
right,
and
we'll
call
learn
him
more
George.
about George in just a second. We'll be right
I
back.
like the fact that his name is George.
George.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy. Find new roads. Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation. Daiquiri Deck. Sarasota's favorite place to meet. Q-Max. Maximum saltwater protection. And Sea Sucker. Get pumped.
Oh, snap.
Every truck guy has their own way of conveying powerful.
Yeah, boy.
Kind of looks like a monster coming to eat you.
Holy smokes.
That is awesome. Strong.
You got the basic and you got the beefy.
I just think it looks mean.
Incredible.
No way. I'm getting goosebumps.
Get 17% below MSRP on all Silverado 1500 LT pickups in stock. That's over $8,100 on this Chevy Silverado. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Meet the water's lightest 25 horsepower four-stroke, the all-new Yamaha F25, the new standard and 25 horsepower portable four-strokes. At just 126 pounds, it's got the best power-to-weight ratio of any 25 horsepower four-stroke on the water. With performance that bests the previous Yamaha F25 and features like Yamaha's VTS for precise trolling speeds, batteryless EFI, built-in resting pads, and carry handles, it's the perfect portable power for small boats.
It's one of the most ancient forms of hide and seek known to man. And nobody knows how to play the fishing game better than the backcountry guides and offshore captains of the Florida Keys and Key West. Ready or not, here we come.
Welcome back, guys and gals. Let's now take a look at the FWC news and notes. June 10th, there's a ladies fishing clinic in St. George Island, and June 24th, there's a kids fishing clinic in Cape Canaveral. For more information, visit myfwc.com, but now it's time for Rigs and Techniques.
Well, I must say the CCA workbench has an aroma.
Yeah, you can call me Stinky. Stinky.
Aromatherapy going on over here at the CCA workbench. Dave,
we're talking about mangrove snapper. Well, you know, mangrove snapper, they're called a lot of different things, and you know, up in the Panhandle, they're called black snappers and gray snappers, and we call them mangrove snappers down here in South Florida because they like to associate around mangrove shorelines a lot. Any place where there's a nice current, you know, you put you out a chum bag, and you can catch a lot of those little inshore snappers. And when you're fishing for those little inshore snappers, they're probably anywhere between half a pound, maybe up to 4 pounds if you're lucky, if you find a nice bridge inshore somewhere that has some big ones on them. As a matter of fact, right now up in Pat Deneen's area, me and my brother like to fish in the summertime on the Mid-Bay Bridge. Is a great place to catch some big mangrove snappers in the summertime. Cool. And what we'll do up there is we'll get like a bucktail jig and some pilchards, and we'll put a live pilchard on a bucktail jig and drop it to the bottom.
Now, how do you hook him?
I hook him right through the nose. And you know, it's a little sideways and doesn't look that great all the time going down, but when he gets down there on the bottom and he's doing this on that jig head, he comes in and eats him. And you just got to let him go and let him go and let him go.
What do you mean let him go now?
You got to let him go for a little while. You can't
leave the bail open.
Yeah, you got to feed him. Yeah.
Drop back.
Drop back. Let him have it, because if you start to wind real quick, you'll just get the thing back. Because what he'll do is he'll grab a hold of it and run away, just like a dolphin will or something. Because usually if there's one mangrove snapper, there's more.
Right.
And he's greedy and he grabs it and he'll run away with it before he swallows it. You know, chewing on it. And they got some nasty sharp teeth on them too, so you got to watch out. You know, go as low as you can in your leader, but you got to watch out, because if you get too low, a mangrove snapper can snap you off if you get under a 20-pound test. But I also like when I'm inshore, around inlets and stuff like that, rocky shorelines, a gotcha gets them every time. I mean, they love that thing because it looks like a little silver side. Yeah. You know, you're working that thing real fast and jerking it sharp. They don't even get a good look at it. They just a reaction strike. And so that's a great little bait. Any kind of mirrodine or any bucktail jig works great inshore when you're trying to catch the little ones. This one there, right here, though, the fish finder with a live shrimp, that's a dead shrimp, obviously. Right. But when you put a live shrimp on a fish finder rig, that's a great snapper for not only mangroves, but for yellowtails and any other little snappers down there. Now, when you go offshore, when you're targeting these big snappers, like my buddy Cy Pazam does up in Cape Canaveral, he likes to fish for them at night. For one thing, you know, mangrove snappers are very wary fish. They have very good eyesight. So at nighttime, you don't have to worry so much about going really, really low on your leader. You can use a bigger leader and get away with it. And that allows you to catch a lot of the other fish that you might hook up when you're fishing for those big mangrove snappers, because you're going to have the grouper and big red snappers down there too. So you don't want to go so light that you lose those fish just to catch the mangroves. But right now, just like our boy was saying up there in Jacksonville, now is the time to be starting to go out there, finding those wrecks in 90, 200 feet of water, anything with a lot of bait on it. At nighttime is going to be your best time. And first off, a regular old knocker rig is one of your best shots. This is a knocker rig right here. And what that is, it just lets the weight knock up against the hook. Right. You use about a 5 or 6 foot of 80 to 100 pound test mono. I think this is 80. And a nice 2 or 3/0 circle hook. And put that right down on the bottom. And when he picks it up, again, let him go with it. Let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go, let him go. And then let him go a little bit more. And then start to wind. And wind and wind and wind and wind and wind. Don't stop winding, and then you'll get a hook up.
The other rig?
Yep, regular old chicken rig I made right here. Watch out there.
Yeah, chicken rig.
Chicken rig, just a regular snapper rig too. We got everything.
Oh boy. All right, Dave, we got to go.
But no, you can use squid, pilchards.
Yeah.
Anything that you catch right where you're fishing is also a very good bait.
Okay, the lovely Bree, speaking of a chicken rig, I need you to take us to another...
Chicken?
Because I'm a chicken rig? Is that what you're trying to say? Wow, I'm so offended, Rick.
I believe with 2 hooks you can catch anything.
I probably could. I've been on the show for, 4 years now, and I learned something new from Dave every single season for every single species, so thanks for that, Dave. Okay, anyways, in the Casa Vieja Southeast region, Captain Jimbo Thomas can get you on some mangroves, but presentation is everything. Hey, Jimbo.
Hey, Bree, that's correct. Now, we do have plenty of mangrove snapper here in the southeast region, both inshore and offshore. But the problem is finding fish of any size. Now, pretty much any structure will hold mangroves. Then small fish can be caught around any of the bridges up and down the intercoastal waterway, as well as the creeks and inlets and artificial reefs. It isn't that there are not any large fish around these structures. The problem is getting them to bite because they are quite weary. Now, our good buddy, Captain Wayne Kahn, he fishes aboard the Reward fishing fleet out of Miami Beach, or out of Miami Marina now. I was going to say Miami Beach Marina, but he's out of Miami Marina. He tells me that his favorite time to fish for these mangroves is in the middle of May through July, and lately he's been finding fish from 1 to 3 pounds with an occasional larger fish up to 8 pounds. And he's been anchoring or drifting live pilchards, cut sardines, and silver sides over the reefs and hard bottom in 50 to 60 feet of water from the middle of South Beach, south to Key Biscayne. And he likes to use 20-pound tackle with 30 to 60-pound monofilament leader and a 1/0 to 3/0 circle hook. And then you put on enough lead to hold the bottom depending on the current. And then if the fish are spooky, he likes to fish a lighter leader or even go to a fluorocarbon leader. And he does prefer to fish off the moon, and we're on the moon right now, so a couple more days it will be off the moon. And he says that the bite usually doesn't start till after 9:30 or even 10 o'clock at night. So he's doing mostly night fishing. And he does recommend chumming with cut chunk bait versus block chum because you don't get as much small stuff up in the cut chunk. And the night fishing in 50 to 80 feet of water from Lake Worth Inlet south has also been good for mangrove in that same size range. And then staying offshore, the action on the edge of the Gulf Stream remains really good with kingfish, blackfin tuna, and the occasional sail and dolphin, and that's if this rain ever quits. But we've been seeing a lot of green water in the last week, but it hasn't really seemed to make much of a difference in the bite. And the bites have been on live herrings and pilchards in 120 to 180 feet of water, fishing out of the outriggers or under the kites, although our kites don't fly in the rain very good. And it'd also be a great idea, and it is a good idea, to drop a live bait on the bottom just in case you drift over a hungry grouper or a mutton snapper. And then chumming with those live pilchards, if you can find them, it'll definitely help to get the bite going. And then fishing late in the day or early in the morning, but late in the afternoon is the best. That's when these fish are going to bite the best. Now, moving inshore, tarpon action has been really good throughout the whole region. All of the inlets and their adjacent beaches have been alive with tarpon up to 100 pounds or larger. In the north end of the region, a live mullet's your preferred bait, and to the south, live crabs top the menu. And the tide really isn't much of a factor when fishing the inlets, just so long as that water is moving. Now, all of the bridges of the intercoastal waterway have also been holding tarpon, and they've been feeding on both live crabs and the live bait. And the bridges have been best at night, fishing the shadow lines on the outgoing tide, and the inlets have been best early in the mornings and in the evenings. And then the flats in the south end of the region, we've been seeing some really great permit fishing, especially when we got some sun, which we haven't seen much of that lately. And with the full moon, we've been experiencing, with the full moon that we have been experiencing, some really low and high tides. And those fish have been favoring the outgoing tide. Look for hard bottom flats with lots of moving water between Caesars and Broad Creek. Now, most of these fish have been swimming or cruising versus tailing, and a live crab placed in their path, hopefully that'll get a bite, and usually it does. And since this is mostly sight fishing, wait for the sun to come up to get some good visibility. Hopefully that happens one of these days. And say between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m., that's your best time. And if there's overcast conditions like we have, try working over the light-colored bottom, and that way you can see those fish cruising. And most of these permit have been in the 12 to 25-pound class.
All right, Jimbo, great report from the Casa Vieja Southeast region. He's the total optimist. I'm going to go ahead.
Such a little ball of sunshine, isn't he?
I'm going to go ahead and read his inshore hotspots. Tarpon, drift live shrimp or crabs throughout the inlets for the evening tarpon. And then offshore, blackfin tunas, kingfish, sailfish, fish live baits along the edge of the Gulf Stream in 90 to 200 feet of water.
Cheers to sunshine this weekend, Rick.
I love it.
Hey, y'all, we're just getting started and can't wait to take you to the Central, West, and East regions. Also coming up, the IGFA is here to talk about kids fishing camps, so stay hooked. We'll be right back, and wow, look at that Chevy. That's not a truck.
No, that's beautiful.
That's
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Blue Water Outriggers, everything for your outdoor adventures. The American Fishing Tackle Company, precision tackle and performance clothing since 1958. Best parts, best prices, Bennett Auto Supply. Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. And Casa Vieja Lodge, 5-star angling in beautiful Guatemala.
I think it's time to change my battery. Now you do it.
Get AC Delco batteries at Bennett Auto Supply. Plus, get $10 off your first online purchase when you register at BennettAuto.com.
Bennett Auto Supply. Do it yourself, but not alone.
I'm Captain Rick Murphy, and I'm a life member of CCA. Why am I so involved with CCA, you ask? Because I want our fisheries to be in better shape for my kids and their kids. CCA is working to ensure the future of recreational fisheries and the rights of recreational anglers. The future of fishing starts today with you. How do you want to leave things with your kids? If you're like me, you'll want to make the right choice and go to joinccaflorida.com right now.
As close as you're gonna get to a sure thing for catching billfish is Guatemala.
They're here, man. This has been a 20-year run, buddy. These things haven't left, there's no cycle. When it comes to sailfish, then this is the real deal.
The amount of sailfish here is ridiculous.
Hi guys, it's great to be here. In the desert, at the mall, on the mountain, at school, at the beach, in the Big Easy.
Yeah.
Today I want to show you guys the next gen Chevy Equinox. What do you think?
That's pretty.
Pretty sexy.
It looks aggressive.
But not overbearing. It's not too big, not too small. Seems like the perfect car for anybody. I would take it anywhere.
She's a bad mamma jamma.
Current qualified GM lessees can get this introductory lease on the all-new 2018 Chevy Equinox for around $249 a month. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Well, welcome back to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, and as you can see, with me is Jack Vitek from the IGFA. Now, Jack, we're here to talk about kids fishing clinics for this summer, so why don't we just get right into it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, summer's here. You know, our camp starts on June 12th, which is next Monday. It's a 10-week camp broken down to individual weeks. It's a really great way to just, get kids outside, introduce them to the sport of fishing, teach them the importance of ethical angling, which the IGFA does, and just a really great camp.
So let's talk a little bit about what the camp involves. So what do they typically do? It's Monday through Friday?
Correct, yeah, it's Monday through Friday, pick up and drop off at the IGFA. Monday, Tuesday, they're here. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, field trips, freshwater, saltwater, drift boat fishing, Everglades, flats, everything, you name it, we do it.
So what does the camp cost? And then obviously what does it include? Are the kids staying overnight or is it a day in and day out?
It's not an overnight camp.
Right.
Like I said, pick up in the morning, drop off, or drop them off in the morning, pick them up in the evening.
Right.
And $350 for the whole week, which is fantastic. There's a max of 40 kids, get plenty of time outside, plenty of time fishing, and you can't really beat it.
So let me ask you this, how many kids per counselor? That's obviously important to mom and dad.
Absolutely, we have 5 counselors. So I mean, it's better than a 10-to-1 ratio. It's pretty fantastic.
And so they're always supervised. And then certainly when it comes to the camps, do they learn, other than with the field trips, what are the little things that we try to focus on? And is there different age groups?
The age group is 7 to 12. And what we focus on is really hands-on fishing and science kind of practices. Learning everything from tying flies, tying jigs, how to measure fish properly for FWC if they want to keep a fish, teach them the importance of releasing, proper release techniques, all these different things, and really fun, hands-on, interactive activities that our counselors excel at.
So Jack, if you want to know more information, where do we go?
Go to igfa.org, our website. Check us out on Facebook. You can look up IGFA on Google, give us a call. We can tell you everything you want to know about the camps.
Well, I got to thank you so much. You know, in 2 weeks, we have our annual kids show.
That's right.
And I know the IGFA has donated one of those camps as a certificate, so we'll be giving that away at the kids show. So I appreciate everything that the IGFA does for fishing. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, Bree, where are we going?
Well, I just want to say really quick, IGFA, I went on one of your head boats one year, and the camp was amazing. The kids had so much fun. They were learning a lot, so it's a great thing to be a part of. Okay, our beloved Jeffrey Page is now live from the Startron Central West region, where the snapper bite currently is off the hook. Hello, Page.
That's right, it is. Hey, real quick, you know, we have our kids fishing camp, the Sarasota fishing camp, the 24th through the 28th of July. And I'll have more of that for the kids show. Anyway, our mango snapper, like Rick calls them, cool thing about our mang bite is that most of the time you can catch them inshore as well as offshore. But that being said, our biggest and best mangs are taken out in the Gulf of Mexico over just about any kind of structure, hard bottom, wrecks or reefs, and we catch them year round. The True Snapper Fest is about to begin this summertime full moon in June, and early AM as well. The key to a successful snapper trip is, of course, the weather being right and cooperative, but also having a variety of bait, chum, and tackle. Usually the nighttime moon game is off the chain. Get your boat anchored up over the structure and keep a steady flow of cut sardines as well as a chum bag or two over the side. Tackle consists of 12 to 15-pound spinning gear with 20 to 30-pound fluorocarbon leader and a light 2 or 3/0 circle hook, leg wire circle hook. Daytime, very similar, but you might want to lighten up on your leader, especially if the water's clear, because that snapper, he can be finicky. 65 feet on out, 110 feet should get the job done. And then in the wintertime months, look for the fish holding as close as 30 feet of water, and you can catch those a lot of times on shrimp on a 3/8-ounce jig head. I got a snapper photo tonight of Captain Jason Stock of Bradenton Beach with a happy client and a big mang they got last week.
All right, go ahead and tell me what else is happening offshore.
Gag grouper with the recreational season open. Anglers have been doing real well on gags in as close as 45 feet, but the better fish have been that 75 to 100 feet. Live pinfish are awesome, but make sure you bring a couple boxes of frozen sardine as well. And any area of hard bottom that's big enough or broken up, guys have been doing real well trolling the X-Rap 30s in the pink or chartreuse pattern. Moving inshore, speckled trout, like I said last week, the speckled trout bite's really gotten consistent with lots of quality keeper fish in that 16 to 20 inch range, holding over their regular deeper grass flats and points in South Tampa Bay and North Sarasota Bay as well. I've been having luck setting up on that beginning of the afternoon outgoing at the full high, power poling down as shallow as I can get, and casting cork, filters, or throwing the live target 3-inch gold glitter shrimp up current and letting it sweep by the boat over that broken 3 to 5 foot bottom. Photo species 2, tarpon. Tarpon bite remains strong with lots of fish being caught along the beaches and in the passes throughout the entire region. Live crabs and threadfins have been the bait of choice. Speaking of tarpon, this past weekend was the 5th annual Conley Buick GMC Evie's Tavern Suncoast Tarpon Shootout. 2 days of grueling fishing with prizes for most released, biggest girth, and most released by kayak. Big Daddy Mike McDonald and the Conley GMC Buick guys did an awesome job as usual, and I've got 3 photos tonight. The first one is the team with the most releases, Team Masturbator. C.J. Wickersham, the Bystrom brothers, Logan and Connor, Max Gazzo, and Chris Chicaro. Second photo, Team Old School. That's the team with a 41.5-inch girth. Jamie Hooks, Tony Paul, Jeremiah Acevedo. And then last but not least, what this tournament is all about are the Wounded Warriors. And my third photo is Justin Ganter, a Wounded Warrior, and Charlie Lemon, the Wounded Warrior winner. He got a big 40-inch girth tarpon. And I just got one quick question, Rick. You notice there's a guy in every photo with a Hobie jersey on. Who is that?
That's Big Daddy Mike McDonald, and what a great job. Thank you so much for what you do there, Mike. It's great to see the guys out fishing. And more importantly, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the daiquiri deck hotspots from the Central West region. Inshore snook. A big nighttime snook bite is on the early evenings on the outgoing tide in all of our Central West inlets and passes. Live pinfish or grunts are best baits for that. And then offshore red snapper. The quality red snappers are holding on hard bottom and the wrecks in 120 feet and out.
All right, tonight we have a guest captain filling in for Mike Holliday in the East region, where you're going to find the mangroves at night along the natural reef contour running parallel to shore in about 65 to 75 feet of water. But Captain Ed Zayak is going to tell you even more about it. Hello, Ed.
Hi, how's it going, everybody?
How's everybody, Eddie? You doing okay?
We're doing really well.
All right, man, give it to me. Let's go.
Okay, mangrove snapper. So, like I said, the best mangrove snapper action is on the natural reef line that runs in 65 to 75 feet of water. That is the entire length of our region. Now, you'll also find the fish on the 6 Mile Reef, Halsey, and Amazon wrecks, and really just about any of the shallower wrecks and artificial reefs in our region. A lot of good snapper are caught during the day, but really by far the best bite happens after dark. The fish don't see the leader as well, and they really feed a lot more aggressively. So wherever and whenever you fish, you want to be anchored up and scum with glass minnows, brown chum, even small pilchards. And get those snapper feeding. Then you're going to drop down a pilchard, threadfin, even chunks of ballyhoo or bonita strips. And just remember, snapper like to pick and drop. So you don't really want to strike until that fish moves off with the bait. Average mangrove snapper up here is 2 to 5 pounds, fish to 13 pounds in the mix.
All right, staying offshore, what else you got for me, Eddie?
Blackfin tuna. And this has been a really good year for blackfin tuna in this East region. We've had fish off of Palm Beach County for the last 2 months. And if you can lock in on their depth, you're really going to have a good day. Lately, the best action has been from 200 to 300 feet of water, from Boynton Inlet all the way up to Jupiter. There's also been some fish scattered in the bonita schools in shallower, 50, 60 feet. Now, you can target blackfin by simply adding a small black, pink, or silver Japanese feather to your normal trolling spread and shotgun it way back behind the boat. Those blackfins tend to be a little boat shy. And you can also drift and live chum with minnows, pilchards, and then you put a few live pilchards out on 30 pounds. Look 3/0 circle hook. Average blackfin is 15 to 25 pounds.
Tell me about the photo here, Eddie.
Yeah, this is Tanner Hooker. Chunky blackfin. He caught that south of St. Lucie Inlet on Spanish sardine. He's a really cool kid and a great angler.
Okay, man, I don't know if you have a phone case on your phone, but you keep coming in and out a little, so try to make sure you speak into the speaker. Tell me about the inshore tarpon.
Yes, sir, inshore tarpon. Well, right now we're getting a little bit of west winds, and it's calming the seas down. It's really starting to look like our normal summer pattern tarpon season along our beaches. The fish are migrating through the region. So you want to start your morning by running the beach in about 15 to 20 feet of water with the sun at your back and looking toward shore. You'll see the reflection of those rolling fish. And then when you do, we like to kind of get ahead of those fish and toss a live crab, mullet, pilchard, or sardine. You also find fish in places like Bathtub, Hero Cove, and all the inlets throughout our region. Those areas, the best fishing is at dawn and dusk, live mullet. We also, inshore, we have the resident fish in places like Big and Little Mud Creek, Harbor Ridge, St. Lucie Locks, the moorings. And I like to fish those fish with a live mullet, or my favorite is a root beer colored DOA terrorized. And that bite is from dawn till about 8 a.m., then it's time to move on to something else, like snook.
All right, tell me about them.
So we got them. They're everywhere right now. I mean, we are covered up with snow. Snook season's closed, but there's a lot of fish moving onto the beaches throughout the whole region. They're preparing for their summer spawn. The fish are moving from offshore. They're moving from inside the rivers, intercoastal. So if you like to walk the beach and fish, this is a really good time to get out, do a little exercise, and also get on a hot snook bite. And really any of the beaches. So Pick Beach, Loggerhead, Blowing Rock, Hope Sound National Wildlife Refuge, Jensen Beach, South Beach, and Fort Pierce. And you just need to be out there early or late and fishing small shad-body jigs, lipless crankbaits. And what we usually do is take a couple steps out in the water, and you want to be casting parallel to the beach. Those fish are probably going to be within 10 feet of the sand, chasing that bait. You can also throw your cast net right there in the trough if you're fishing, catch those little filters through thread pins, fling those right back out there. Those snook are going to be between 5 and 15 pounds.
All right, tell me about the photo.
That's Bo Johnson, my man. He got a nice snook. He got a nice snook off of Rio Mar at Vero Beach. That fish ate a soft body jig.
All right, you got about 30 seconds for the bass, Eddie. Roll through it, bro.
Yes, sir. Bass fishing's been really good. Lake Kissimmee is the place to be. It took 36 pounds to win last weekend during that big Toho Marine Help for Heroes tournament. 34 pounds for second place. That's 5 fish. That's awesome fishing. If you're out there early, working the grass edges, top water plug, lipless crankbaits, places like the Pig Trail, going into the east side of Rabbit Island, the outside edge of Lemon Bluff, anywhere you can find moving water coming in from Lake Hatchnahaw, you're going to find action.
All right,
Sun gets up high, switch over to Texas rig worms.
All right, thank you so much, Eddie. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for filling in for Mike. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the East region. Inshore, spotted sea trout on the west side of the Indian River between Midway Road and Savannah Road. Houdini-colored Bass Assassin 6-inch shads or topwater plugs are going to work for those trout. And then offshore, kingfish, snapper, and sailfish on the Spanish sardines and on the sand piles off of Stewart. Fish the bait schools while Dave is dropping stuff all over the workbench.
You can't even say snapper without saying schnapper.
Snapper.
That's the same way every time. Okay, anglers, we're headed way up to the north to the Panhandle region, and then we're headed just a few feet away from me where Dave's crashing things all over the workbench.
Yeah, I almost dropped this thing on my eyeball.
But they sure are swagalicious new products.
You dropped your balls?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Well,
I need to go to the doctor.
We'll be right back. Oh my goodness.
What are we looking at?
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by the Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. FWC, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Navionics, we start where the road ends. Soft Science, Supreme Comfort Footwear. Power Pole, Swift, Silent, Secure. Real Legends, exclusively at Bell's. And Maverick Boat Group, makers of premium boat brands Maverick, Hughes, and Pathfinder.
Yamaha's 4.2-liter V6 offshore 4-strokes. For those that like their V6 lighter, faster, and stronger. Setting new standards for power, efficiency, speed, and lightweight. Built for the rigors of offshore boating. Packed with Yamaha's legendary reliability. And now Yamaha's 4.2-liter V6 4-strokes offer a choice between digital or mechanical controls to match your rigging preference. Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
Hey, how do you like your contender? How do I like my contender? What's not to like?
Dude, I just saw a contender, and man, I gotta get me one.
CCA Workbench is on fire tonight.
Yes, sir. We got some new products, and
All right,
we're going
let's
to
talk about
start with the Sea Sucker cup holder. And this one's a really cool one. It's adjustable. You know, if it's a Sea Sucker, it's going to be incredibly strong. You're going to demonstrate there how that thing goes on. Any flat surface, hit the button until the orange disappears.
That's correct.
And it's on.
Now, what's cool about this, Dave, is certainly it's made for all different size Yetis. So, like, here's a good example, the big Yeti.
The great big one.
All right. Then the little Yeti will go in, but it has this insert that you can pull out.
All right. It'll hold a bottle and all that, too.
It'll hold the bottle. It'll hold the Gatorade bottle, not the big one, but the regular size. But look, even fits the highball.
Yep. Exactly. In case the cocktails start flowing.
Absolutely.
That won't. You can't tip that over either when the cocktails are flowing. That's the thing.
Good job.
You can go to try to grab that 4 times and won't be able to knock it over.
Look, I mean, the good job by the guys at Sea Sucker.
That's
Pretty
right.
work. What else you got there, Dave?
Well, over here we got these. We got the new Guy Harvey flag shirts, and Guy Harvey's making these now, and he's doing all 50 states. That's our beautiful Florida flag there.
Wow.
He makes them short and long sleeve. 100% polyester. Really wicks, water away from you. Keeps you nice and cool. They're made out of really nice light stuff. Assembled in the United States. So, if you want to find a good flag that you like, go ahead and pick you up one of those. Go to Guy Harvey online.
I
like Florida flags, so that's one I would get if I were you.
That's right.
All right. The next we got, these are really cool. I found these online not too long ago. A guy contacted me because he was catching a lot of fish on them and said, you guys ought to have these on there. So I contacted the fellow who makes them. They're called naked ball jigs. And if you go online, he'll show you they've caught over 70 species on this thing, and I don't doubt it a bit. He uses them on the bottom. He makes little tiny ones there that you can catch trout and redfish on. Plus he makes the great big ones there that you can go out and catch a big red snapper. The offshore ones are 2 ounces, 4 ounces, 6 ounces, and 8 ounces.
Wow.
And the little ones are 3/16, a quarter, half, and 1 ounce. And
the different colors they come in?
Glow colors are polar white, hot pink, chartreuse, and green.
All right.
So there you go.
Good job, guys.
Now we got some Bass Assassin. These are some new colors from Bass Assassin in the Logger Toads.
I like this color.
Yeah, that's the icicle. These things are really good for penetrating or being a frog on top. But these new colors are really cool. That's the icicle, like I said. This one here is a watermelon with a red glitter, which is always a popular color, is the watermelon. This is the Florida frog, which is a brown color, and the St. John special. Any tannic water, blue was the last color to go away, so we like to use a lot of blue here in the state of Florida. So
especially dirty water.
And dirty water. You can see that. You can see that blue deep.
We're gonna have plenty of dirty water.
Exactly.
With all this rain.
Last but not least, we have some razor baits. These are also made from a fella here in Florida. We got the Samurai Spin, which is the one with the 3 blades on it. Those are the Samurais right there. They're actually triple counter rotating, hammered either in nickel or brass.
Come on, Dave.
Yeah, those are pretty cool, man.
Counter rotating.
Counter rotating, exactly. And then we got these, which are just the razor spin. They come in single or the double blades in either the Colorado or willow leaf style, in polished nickel or brass. And if you're fishing for bass or even a redfish will eat one of these things. It's a secret.
I
but
know where I'm going to find
like
these
too.
in your tackle box.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Dave. Pretty work here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Speaking of pretty, Bree, where are we going next? Daddy's in a happy mood.
She's never heard that before.
That's so sweet of you.
Thank you.
Don't expect it to be mutual. Just kidding.
Oh, what a
The Yeti Panhandle region is now in the spotlight, and so is Captain Pat Deneen. Do you have some good news for everyone this weekend, Pat?
Yeah, Bree. Fishing's been good up here, and as far as the mangrove snappers go, we commonly call them black snappers in the Panhandle. And we catch them both inshore and offshore. Offshore, they're going to run up to and over 10 pounds. In the bay, a 3-pounder is a very nice mangrove. And of all the snappers that we have up here, mangroves can be caught in any one of the bays in the Panhandle. The best fishing in the bay is early summer or late summer to early fall. They're going to find them on the deeper water structure near the passes, basically the bridges, the jetties, the deeper docks, and the rock piles. And the best baits are free-lined or lightly weighted live shrimps or a 2 to 3 inch pilchard. In the Gulf, the bigger fish are caught year-round as well, and they're also around structure, either natural or man-made. The barges, the junk piles, the natural bottom areas, and the black they respond real well inshore and offshore to chumming. You can bring them up high into the water column, and they're typically pretty wary fish, so you want to use a light leader, long leaders, and also a small hook. And many consider the black snappers to be better eaten, or one of the best eaten snappers that we have up here in the Gulf. Staying inshore, speckled trout, once again, tend to be the predominant inshore bite. I spoke with Captain Jason Giles of Shallow Water Expeditions in Panama City, and he again repeated that West Bay is loaded up with bait, and that's where the trout are as well. You're going to find them on the grass flats, and pay particular attention to that spotty grass bottom and 3 to 5 feet of water. And also, if you find an abundance of mullet on that flat, that's always a good sign. The best bite tends to be the first couple hours of daylight and then the last hour or so of daylight. So try to be on the water early, before the sun breaks the horizon, so about 5:30 or so. And as the morning progresses, you want to move your effort from that shallower 3 to 5 foot grass out to the edge where the grass flats rolls down into the deeper water, 6 to 10 feet. And this pattern is good no matter if you're in Panama City, Pensacola, or Fort Walton Beach. It's a similar deal.
Let's go offshore, Pat.
Rick, offshore, the red snapper, we had that 3-day federal season, recreational season last week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a lot of really nice snappers were caught. It kind of turned into Derby, a mad rush type of situation, since we only had 3 days to go out there and do it. But it worked out real well. We found them on junk piles and natural bottom in 100 to 150 feet of water. A live cigar minnow herring or a smaller pinfish on a Carolina rig was definitely the terminal tackle of choice. And like black snappers, those red snappers respond very well to chumming. So you can chunk them, bring them up off the bottom, and then free line them with bait, kind of like the guys in the Keys do the yellowtail snappers. And there were plenty of snappers caught up to and over 20 pounds. And there's a photo of a nice red that we caught on opening day off the out of here in 130 feet of water, fishing a small junk pile using cigar minnows for bait.
Wow, that is a nice fish. What else you got for me offshore, bub?
Rick, amberjacks. You want to catch a lot of hard-fighting fish, don't care about keeping them, and also don't want to travel far to find them. Amberjacks should be on your radar throughout the Panhandle. All the nearshore wrecks and junk piles have plentiful amberjacks on them. And it's not secret spots. It's a public number. Especially you're looking for the higher relief structures, the barges, the tugboats, and whatnot. The closed season that we've had and also the increased minimum size limit has resulted in much nicer, bigger amberjacks on these shallower spots. You want to use an active high-energy bait like a blue runner or a herring. And often in the shallower 65 to 80-foot places, you can just free line that bait. And there's not a lot of current. If there is current, you want to use a slip sinker type of rig. And jacks also respond real well to live chumming with either pilchards or menhaden. You can get some good surface bites, and that's exactly what Captain Jason Giles did with his clients, putting that amberjack in the photo up on top, using some live chum for bait, and then feeding them a crease fly.
All right, thank you so much, Pat Tar. Great report from the Yeti Panhandle region. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the blue water outrigger hotspots. Inshore, speckled trout on the flats north and west of Sandestin on live menhaden, either free-lined or under a cork. And then offshore, amberjacks have some catch and release fun on the nearshore wrecks using fly or light tackle. Now I'm here with Rocky Gavins, is that right?
Yes.
All right. The winner of the 2017 CCA Florida Star Tournament. You're the first winner of the year. I want to congratulate you.
Thank
but
you.
I want to know all about it. So what happened?
Well, I just had a great opportunity to catch a beautiful little redfish that had a green tag in it, and I was throwing your favorite bait, that Rapala skitterwalk.
I love it.
And
so, Rocky, tell me a little bit about. First off, you got to be pre-registered. So you registered.
That's the most important thing. I mean, for any tournament, Rick, you have to be, you have to be registered for the tournament. You have to be a member of CCA.
Right.
And before you go out and catch the fish.
All right, so tell me a little bit about the fish on the board. How does that all work, Rocky?
Well, once you catch the tagged fish like that, you take a picture of the fish on that measuring board, and then CCA has an app, and you just upload the app on your phone, and the tag there has a phone number on there, and you call it in right there on the water.
And the tag number?
Tag number is you call in that, give them that number, and they verify that you've got a correct tag.
So how long was the fish, Rocky?
Fish was about 19 inches long, a little bit skinny, obviously a hatchery raised fish, but.
So you notified the Star Committee, and so what did they tell you to do? Meet them down at?
They had me meet them at West Marine, bring in, I didn't have to bring the fish, but because the fish was legal, I figured I would just cover all my bases, bring the fish with the tag in it. One of the CCA guys was there and verified.
Well, job well done. Congratulations. And I want to tell you something. What you won, you had a choice of a lot of things. What did you choose?
I chose a beautiful 2017 Pathfinder 2200 TRS, just like the one we're sitting on.
How about that? Well, congratulations. I know you're going to really enjoy that boat. And probably, did you eat the fish?
I did, but I said a very special grace before I ate that fish.
Oh, I bet, man. You're talking about a sweet tasting redfish. I've never had a 19-inch redfish taste that good.
It was fantastic.
Congratulations. I'm so
Thank
proud.
you very much.
And welcome to the 2017 Star Tournament. So, Bree,
I'm so excited for you,
I don't even know what to say.
Thanks, CCA.
Hello, let's clap. Woo, so excited. Congratulations. Oh, he's coming.
I'm taking this baby home.
Congratulations, Rocky. That's awesome. Okay, guys, time to get comfy because we're headed to the Florida Keys and Central East regions next, right here on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. Look at that Camaro. Ooh la la.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Rapala. Catch the latest at Rapala.com. Startron cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Yeti, built for the wild. CCA Florida, the voice of recreational anglers for over 30 years. Strike Zone Fishing, your fish hunt paddle store. And Guy Harvey, marine wildlife artist and conservationist.
Every truck guy has their own way of conveying powerful.
Yeah, boy. Kind of looks like a monster coming to eat you. Holy smokes.
That is awesome. Strong.
You got the basic and you got the beefy.
I just think it looks mean.
Incredible.
No way. Getting goosebumps.
Get 17% below MSRP on all Silverado 1500 LT pickups in stock. That's over $8,100 on this Chevy Silverado. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Flagler Construction Equipment is your certified Takeuchi equipment dealer, servicing 55 counties in Florida. With Takeuchi, you get brute strength combined with bulletproof durability. That means low downtime and optimal production. Flagler Construction Equipment is the partner for all your Takeuchi sales, service, and rental needs, and your first and last stop for legendary customer service and support. Pros know Takeuchi. Get to know Flagler Construction Equipment by stopping by one of our 6 locations or visit us on the web at www.flaglertakeuchi.com.
Welcome back, everyone. So we're really excited because starting now until June 18th, you can sign up to win the Bell's Fishing Trip Contest with Captain Rick and myself for a half day of fishing, as well as a 2-night stay at the Islander Resort, a Guy Harvey outpost in Isla Mirada. To enter, visit your local Bell's stores or online at facebook.com/BellsFlorida. Rick, this is always such a fun contest, and we have a blast out on the water, and I can't wait to see who wins.
I know. Can it happen now?
Can it happen now?
Can we do like 2?
Yeah, let's do 2 next year. Next year we'll do 2.
Okay.
All right, guys. Captain Randy Tow in the Florida Keys is now here to give you your Weekend Paradise report. Go for it, Randy.
Hey, good evening, fish fans. You know, when we talk about mangrove snappers, that's the one fish that we have throughout the Keys. They're on the reefs, they're in the backcountry, around the mangroves, and they're even in the canals around a lot of the homes throughout the Keys, and it's something that most everybody will fish for at some time. And live shrimp is always the best bet to catch a mangrove snapper. Now, if you really want to be targeting the bigger ones, you might want to go to the reef. You might want to use bigger bait. Now, we're coming into the time of year where late June and July, when we have the full moons, these snappers are going to spawn on the reef. So there's a lot of night fishing as well as fishing during the day. And one of the most popular things are fishing around the mangrove islands. People like to go around some of the deeper channels that we have in the backcountry and fish for the mangrove snappers. You actually see them because the water is crystal clear, and you'll anchor the boat. You'll see the fish right there. Now, not always are the big ones going to be next to the boat or near your chum bag. You're going to want to fish with them with a little bit bigger piece of bait, maybe a pinfish or a pilchard, and you're going to cast it back, and the ones that you don't see are going to be the bigger ones. Now, when you talk about the night fishing, Captain Brian Williams, a local guy here, fishes out of Isla Morada with Serenity Charters. He does a lot of mangrove snapper fishing in the mangroves, and he also goes to the reef quite a bit. And he gave me a photo of Chad and Jeff Burstick from Chicago with some nice snappers they caught night fishing.
Those are some nice fish there, Randy. All right, what else you have for me inshore?
You know, the tarpon fishing really, with the weather we've been having, if you haven't noticed, it's been kind of challenging for the most part. But the fish in the Upper Keys, they've shown back up after that little worm hatch episode down around Bahia Honda Bridge about a week ago now. And the fish are starting to show back up here. Channel 2, Channel 5, Long Key. There's been some good fish around the bridges and pretty steady. The guys that I've been talking to, they've been getting some bites with live mullets still, if you can find them, drifting crabs, and also live pinfish. I talked to Captain Greg Poland, and he was telling me that he's been catching a couple of tarpon a day, and he's been using live pinfish. He told me not to tell anybody, but that's the hot bait right now. And the fly fishing guys, with the weather we've been having, it's been tough for them on the ocean side, but when they get that little window that they can see, they've been getting these fish on the ocean side to bite the flies, so there's still some good movement on the ocean side.
All right, let's go offshore, bub.
Yellowtails. You know, I love bottom fishing. I love yellowtailing. And for some reason, the last 10 days, the yellowtail have been cooperating for most everybody along the reef. Now, a little bit deeper water than normal. Usually it's about 60 or 70 feet. Right now, it's like 80 or 90 feet, and there's been a lot less of the chubs and the filefish and stuff like that that prevents you from getting to the yellowtails. And they've been cooperating really nicely in that deeper water. A 12-pound spinning rod, no leader, tie your hook to the end of it, use a piece of fresh cut bait, and drift it back just like your chum is flowing, and you're going to catch some nice yellowtails. And guys have been catching their limit within about an hour, and that could be 20 or 30 snappers. So the yellowtail bite's been really good.
What else you have for me offshore, Daddy?
June is white marlin month, and I didn't realize that the white marlin we catch in the Florida Keys have all been in June. Now, we were fishing the Skipper's Dolphin Tournament over the weekend, and again, this is the third time this has happened to us, fishing a dolphin tournament. We caught a white marlin. Now, I like to get out there and troll with ballyhoos while I'm looking for birds or looking for a big dolphin, and you never know. If you've got a line in the water, you might get jumped by a big dolphin if you don't see it, but oftentimes the marlin hit too, and you want to have an outfit that's going to handle it if you do get a bite from a marlin. And I have a photo of Captain Skinny and Captain Wills Clemente with his white marlin we caught over the weekend.
Man, what a beautiful fish. Good job, Randy. Thanks for the pictures, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the Florida Keys. Captain Randy says the inshore this weekend, you should go mangrove snapper fishing. Look around the mangrove islands and the small channels in the backcountry. Use live shrimp or fresh cut bait. And then offshore, wow, we're gonna go swordfish and fish 1,400 to 1,600 feet of water. Use squid or strip baits like a dolphin belly. Motor into the current to keep your line straight up and down.
Straight up and down. All right, there are always tournaments going on in the Florida Keys, so let's take a look at what's coming up. The Veterans of Foreign Wars Fishing Tournament, set for this Saturday in Key West, offers $2,500 to the team that catches the heaviest dolphin. Proceeds benefit disabled and veterans in need throughout Monroe County. The Ladies Tarpon Fly, set for June 13th to the 15th, is an all-release fly fishing invitational that has attracted premier lady fly anglers and guides throughout its history. The Ladies Let's Go Fishing Offshore Inshore Anyone Can Win tournament, scheduled for June 16th and 17th, provides a weekend of fishing education and a fun competition in Isla Morada.
The Gold Cup Tarpon Tournament, scheduled for June 19th through the 23rd in Islamorada, benefits the Guides Trust Foundation. How you like that?
I like it.
I like that. All right, and now on to Andy Newman to see what featured tournaments he's talking about this week. Go for it, Andy.
Well, hi guys. The opportunity to fish with some of your favorite Hurricanes football greats is afforded to anglers who sign up for the University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame Celebrity Tournament. The event is scheduled for June 23rd and 24th in Islamorada. Hosted by linebacker great Ted the Stork Hendricks, this year's tournament features both inshore and offshore divisions. There's more details at canesfish.com. Again, canesfish.com. And of course, for more information on all tournaments in the Florida Keys, go to flakeys.com.
Thank you very much, Andy. Okay, Captain Jim Ross is now on the line with a Mangrove Snapper report and more in the Bez Central East region. Hello, Jim.
Hey, Bree. Hey, Rick. Hey, Dave.
How you doing?
Well, I tell you what, Mangrove Snapper are one of our favorite fish up here, and we've got small ones that hang around the inlet rocks and intracoastal docks, and we've got larger specimens that live on the offshore reefs and wrecks, and they can go up to 10 or 12 pounds. Now, these are really keen-sighted fish, as you guys and gals already know, and they can be really tricky at times. That is until you introduce chum. That's when the action starts getting really fast and furious. Small live baits like pilchards or glass minnows cut up and used for chum are really good to get mangrove snapper fired up, but you can use pogies, sardines, herring, any kind of herring bait really works well because they're nice and oily. And then once you get them chummed up and feeding in a really good frenzy, get a short shank hook, a nice live, little live bait hook, and you can put that in one of those little pieces and drift it back in your chum and catch some of those fish. Or cast it to those docks and mangrove shorelines that we talked about a little bit ago. Now, most of our good fish, big fish, 70 to 120 feet of water is where they're holding right now. And we're getting ready to get some of the biggest fish of the year. As you guys and gals know that do a lot of mangrove snapper fishing, nighttime fishing offshore around the full moons in June, July, and August can be awesome. So right around the 8th and 9th of June, the 7th through the 9th of July, and the 4th through the 7th of August are going to be some really hot days for mangrove snapper fishing right now. Now, we've had some cold water, Rick, that's moved in here, and this is really unusual for the cold water to move in this time of the year. Typically, that's a July time frame thing. But this past week, we've had 2 different bouts of cold water upwellings coming in along the beaches, and it's actually gotten the temperature down into the 60-degree range, 69, 70-degree range. That's pushed a bunch of cobia in. So our reefs and wrecks that are in about 45 to 90 feet of water have a lot of cobia on them right now, and you can also find them free swimming at times around some of the shoals around the Canaveral area. Slow trolling with live bait seems to be a really good way to get them if you're not sight fishing for them. But with this cold water phenomenon, it can be short-lived, so you need to take advantage of it. As soon as you can get out there, and most of those fish right now are running about 15 to 20 pounds, but a few of those fish are running into the 40 and 50-pound class. Now, swinging inshore, Mosquito Lagoon has just been red hot for redfish. It's one of the destination places that you need to go. If you've never been there, make sure that you go with a guide or somebody that knows the area well. But even if you don't have a guide, you guys can go out there and catch some fish on soft plastic jerk baits. Now, Saltwater Assassin makes a bait called a dye dapper, and you've heard us talk about this bait before. You rig this weedless, and it looks like a finger mullet. And that's what the redfish are feeding on right now, first thing in the morning and then again late in the afternoon. Most of our fish are running in the 30 to 40-inch range out on the edges of the bars, like the Falls Channel Bar, Cucumber Island Bar, and the Whale's Tail Flat. Our slot-sized fish are ambushing those bait fish up on the grass flats, getting really shallow. So Tiger Shoal, Orvis Cove, Barracuda Bay, these are all really good places to go look for those fish. Now, once the sun comes up, switch over to a mudbug-colored 4-inch Saltwater Assassin shrimp cocktail, and you rig that on an 1/8-ounce jig head, or you can rig it on an offset worm hook. And I've got a picture here of Crystal Clara with one of those Central East region redfish from the Mosquito Lagoon.
Wow, that's a great fish. Good picture there, Jim. All right, what else you got for me in the Central East region?
Our last species is snook, Rick, and for whatever reason, our snook fishing has been better this year than it's been in quite some time. From Ponce Inlet all the way down to the Sebastian and Vero area, we're having some really good action on snook. Right now, the bigger fish are up to 30 pounds, and you can get them on live croakers, live pilchards, and mullet around the Spoil Islands, docks in the Indian River, even some of the bridge pilings around New Smyrna. You don't have to fish them at the inlets. You can also get them in the surf. Melbourne Beach, Satellite Beach has been really good for snook in the surf here lately. Now, look for the feeder creeks to start becoming a main holding area for the snook, especially the smaller snook. As we get all this rain and those feeder creeks start flowing, they're going to be pushing bait out, and the snook are going to be finding those little bait fish as they're flowing out. And then you can also find them at our inlet jetties. The rocks at Canaveral have been doing really good lately, and also up at Ponce Inlet. Once again, great places to catch snook. Just remember, they're out of season right now, so handle them with care. But I've got a really good picture here of one that Greg McIntosh caught with me not too long ago in the Indian River, right around some of those spoil islands. And so there's some pretty good snook out there right now.
Good job, Jimmy. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the sea sucker hotspots from the Central East region. Captain Jim says that we want to actually go inshore, creeks flowing into the Indian River. Fish small lures like Rapala BX minnows for ladyfish, trout, and snook. And then offshore, the Canaveral buoy line, slow troll with live baits along the channel edges for a mixed bag of poons, jacks, bonitos, shocks, and king mackerels.
You know, Rick, it seemed like collectively over the past couple weeks, the captains have been having one of the best years for snook fishing they've ever had.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well,
yes.
the warm water.
Okay.
That's what we've had. And so they've had great spawns since we had that kill in 2010. It's been really warm since.
They're all like, best year ever.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, last but not least, we're hitting at the Northeast region here on the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report, which means I am one step closer to taking the Chevy Camaro home, right, Rick?
Absolutely.
Just
Happy
kidding.
birthday!
I wouldn't trade my Silverado for anything.
Oh.
Hi-ho, Silver. We'll be right back.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy, find new roads. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Suffix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. The IGFA, conservation through education. Get your hands wet. Flagler Construction Equipment, your exclusive Takeuchi dealer. And Okuma, inspired fishing.
When you're moving a big offshore boat, it's all about thrust and trust. For thrust, nothing compares to the Yamaha purpose-built 5.3-liter V8 Power Pioneer. And for trust, Yamaha's new F350C model becomes the only outboard in its horsepower class to feature a 5-year limited warranty. Never settle for less than complete confidence and control in the open water. That's Yamaha V8 Power. Get the best and forget the rest.
Inside you, there's an outside you. A you that takes the road less traveled than the road less traveled, and finds the comforts of home extremely uncomfortable. This is for that you.
Remember the glory days of gasoline? It's just not made the same anymore.
Kick your gas into gear with StarTron. Pump up the performance in all of your engines. Cure the problems of ethanol with the power of enzymes. And maximize your mileage every time you drive. Kickstart your engines with StarTron.
Hi guys, it's great to be here. In the desert. At the mall. On the mountain. At school. At the beach. In the Big Easy. Yeah. Today I want to show you guys the next gen Chevy Equinox. What do you think? That's pretty. Pretty sexy.
It looks aggressive.
But not overbearing. It's not too big, not too small. Seems like the perfect car for anybody. I would take it anyway.
She's a bad mamma jamma.
Current qualified GM lessees can get this introductory lease on the all-new 2018 Chevy Equinox for around $249 a month. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Today's Power Pole tip is about all the accessories that we sell here at Power Pole. Now, the travel glove is something that you really want to make sure you have. The reason why it's going to protect your power pole from bug acid, as well as rocks that might fly up from your car or somebody else's, but it also prevents your power pole from accidentally deploying. It'll keep it in the up position, and you never know when something might bump the remote while trailering down the road. The other thing that comes to mind is certainly the foot switches. Now, I love these foot switches because they can be mounted up on the bow of the boat or in other places, but more importantly, more often than not, I actually have a fish on the line and I don't have the ability to stop reeling or to take my hand off of the rod to deploy it. By simply stepping on the switch twice allows me to deploy my power pole. Now, a hardware kit is a must for anybody that's had a power pole for any time. And the reason why is it comes with bushings and spare nuts, and certainly it allows you to keep your power pole in perfect operating condition. Last but not least, I certainly love the spike wrap. And over time, the oxidation from the sun or deploying your power pole into oysters or in the sand will make the fiberglass product get a little bit fibrous. And what ends up happening then, by putting the wrap on, if you rub up against it, it's not going to make you itchy. The other thing is we got the downrigger for you guys that actually are going to be fishing on the reefs. You can clip this straight to your power pole, deploy the power pole, and guess what, guys? Now you're actually able to troll down deep at an angle that'll actually give you a much better presentation in those reef situations. Now, Power Pole also has come out with a whole new line of clothing as well as hats, and that's one of the reasons why it's important to stay UV protected while out on the water. Now, the Green Marine is a biodegradable product, and guess what? We're going to be talking about that on our next Power Pole tip, and that's today's Power Pole Tip of the Week.
Rick,
Ray,
what are you doing?
my pet snapper.
Oh,
You
what's
gotta
his
call him
name?
George. His name's Rocky.
Why?
Because he goes into rocks and breaks me off.
Clever.
Especially this big.
Clever.
If I'm not paying attention.
So clever, Rick. Oh my goodness. Okay, Captain Jeff Hageman in the Flagler Construction Equipment Northwest region. Our last report of the show, which means he's got to be the best, right, Hag?
Yeah, that'll do it. I'll take that any day of the week.
All right, let's get at it.
Mangrove snapper, we've got them throughout my region, both inshore and offshore. Fish can be found around docks, bridges, any kind of high relief structure. Offshore fish can be found around any, like I said, high relief structure, rock piles, artificial reefs, wrecks. Mangrove snapper can be very picky, and they have great eyesight. And a lot of guys talked about this already. So light fluorocarbon leaders are a must. The smallest hook you can get away with. Tailhook shrimp is really hard to beat. Small pinfish, small sardine, or cut baits on standard or bottom rigs or knocker rigs. Chumming will help them getting in a frenzy when you got some weary fish. And right now on these next couple of moons we've got, the fish are going to be starting to spawn. So they're going to be getting together and grouping up. So now is a good time to get out at night when your fluorocarbon won't matter so much and they'll be a little less picky, and you can catch a lot more of these fish. Chumming will get them, like I said, in a frenzy, so don't be afraid to put a lot of bait down, get these fish going.
All right, so tell me about the cobia fishing there, Chief.
We got some great cobia fishing. I got a report from Jimbo Keith out of Cedar Key right now. He says the cobia bite is as good as it gets, both inshore and offshore. You want to look around rock piles, channel markers, live pinfish that seems to be the bait of choice, either free line or under a cork. As long as you got some tide movement, that's all you need. And I got a photo here of a nice cobia caught by Jim Keith on the last charter he took out.
Woo.
That's a nice fish.
That's a
All right,
good one.
Hag, before we go inshore, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the Navionics from your region. Now, guys, not very often do we customize the Navionics to the species, but this week we're taking a look at the Skyway Bridge and how it holds the snapper. So let's take a look at the sonar chips as well as the fishing chip, whichever way you want to call it, depending on your plotter. But the key is that all along this edge, this channel was actually dug so that the ships could go through there. And all the places where it peaks up is a great place for the mangrove snappers. Also, Captain Jeff told me along the pylons of the old piers, the fishing piers, are working very well to catch some really big snappers, so keep that in mind. All right, Jeff, let's go ahead and go inshore.
Inshore, Captain Jason Lineberger of Ruthless Fishing Charters out of Tampa Bay reports a great tarpon bite before this blow. Egmont Channel, the moon's going right now, so the crab flesh is in full swing. So the tarpon are going to be heading to the passes to gorge themselves on these guys. So First thing in the morning, look around the passes and around Egmont Channel. In the afternoon, you might want to head to the bridges or get underneath the, get out on the beaches or underneath the bridge. That's going to be your hot spot for the area. Pinfish, threadfins, crabs for bait. With this passing storm right now, these fish might have pushed offshore. I know they have in my region. So we got a lot of dirty water right now. So with that in mind, even though we've got this crab flush, these fish probably pushed offshore. So you might want to get out and look for that clean water line. Any kind of rock bottom or anything else that'll hold them. Artificial wrecks will hold them too when they get offshore. And look for your fish there. If not, they'll be in those key spots out there. And I've got a nice photo from Jason Lineberger on his last charter with a nice tarpon.
It is nice. All right, what else you got for me tonight, Pop?
I got Captain Pat McGriff out of Keaton Beach right now. Reports a good trout bite right now, and anywhere from 2 to 5 feet of water, and redfish bites over the grass flat. Pinfish under a cork seems to be their choice. Trout up to 21 inches and redfish up to 29. The tide doesn't really matter, either that outgoing or the incoming. We got this new moon right now, or this full moon right now. We got a lot of water moving, so you got either one of those tides work really well, and I've got a nice photo of a redfish caught, with Pat on his last trip.
All right, Hag, I got a question for you. You know, you've been tarpon fishing, guiding for them for a long, long time. And in your region, as well as down south in Page's region, you have big areas of where a lot of fresh water is going to come flowing out. What do you think it's going to do to our tarpon fishing?
Well, right now the wind is more of a factor with that than anything. The rain's going to make these crabs really flush, and they poured out really good tonight. But that water getting stirred up with all this wind we've had wind up to 30 miles an hour. So the wind's going to get it muddy. Most of our fish, like I said, are going to be pushed offshore, and they're going to be in that clean water mark. Look for them around wrecks, hard bottom, anywhere there's bait, and that's where you're going to find the fish before they come back in.
All right, thanks for a great report this week. We're going to go ahead and take a look at I hope he didn't fall off his stool or something, from the Northwest region. The hot spots inshore, tarpon along the beaches, passes, and grass flats, pinfish, crabs, threadfin herring, free line under a cork is going to work the best. And then offshore, gag groupers on rock piles and ledges in 75 to 130 feet of water. Use pinfish and pigfish for bait on a standard bottom rig. Man, it's been a night of noise.
I know, it sounded like he was drowning.
Dave's
or
in the
something.
work, man.
Hagerman down.
Hag fell
Down.
off his
Okay,
stool.
well, guys, we've covered it all and can't wait to get you out on the water this weekend, which means while we take a short break, Rick and I will be here doing a Sundance to keep any bad weather away. We'll be right back with what we're fishing for next week.
Snap. Every truck guy has their own way of conveying powerful.
Yeah, boy. Kind of looks like a monster coming to eat you. Holy smokes.
That is awesome. Strong.
You got the basic and you got the beefy.
I just think it looks mean.
Incredible.
No way. I'm getting goosebumps.
Get 17% below MSRP on all Silverado 1500 LT pickups in stock. That's over $8,100 on this Chevy Silverado. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
The ultimate predator has evolved again. Now, Yamaha VMAX SHO Performance is prowling the waters in 4 hungry, exciting new models. With their 4 valves per cylinder and double overhead cam fuel-injected design, these advanced 4-stroke predators are taking performance to a whole new level. Vicious, lean, efficient. VMAX SHO. The pack is growing.
When you're paid to put fish in the boat, you don't mess around with the thing that puts fish in the boat. Always use the best line.
Thanks for tuning in to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to keep up with our captains, contests, and appearances. You never have to miss a show. You can find full episodes, special segments, and updated fishing reports from your region right on our homepage. Just head to ChevyFloridaInsiderFishingReport.com for everything you need to know to stay hooked up. Next week, guys, it's all about sharks.
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, sharks. And the one and only Guy Harvey will be in our studio. So
Nice.
make sure to tune in Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We're super excited for that show. And something else coming up, which is our favorite annual kids show on June 22nd. We always have a great time here in the studio, and the kids get an educational and fun experience.
Yeah, I like
casting,
sharks.
not tying, along with games, prizes, and more. Make sure to tune into that.
Maybe we should have
Good
the
show,
shark
guys.
show
Shark
after
show
the kids. So we
and the
can
kids
feed
show at the
kids
same
their sharks.
time.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week for
Thank
Sharks.
you so much. Bye.